Testing, testing. Wait. No. Okay. You're lost and you just read the title. You have no clue what it's talking about. I'm so trying to get a vision. Hold on. Oh, okay. You're totally off. Totally off. You just read the title. How hard is it to turn the page? For you. You turn the page, right? Nope. First, you gotta decide which hand you're gonna do to use to turn the page. Then you decide which muscles you're gonna use. Then you have to contract and loosen each muscle in your hand, in your arm. So, which fingers are you gonna use? If you use your forefinger and your thumb on your right hand, you're gonna use the first parts that move are the toes, the little two toes on your left foot. All your toes you're gonna use. You're gonna use how many muscles do you think? This is just an abbreviation. Then you have to pick up, start with your fingers or your hand and pick up each muscle moves to get the hand to move up. Position your finger, touch the page, move it over. How many steps is that? I lost count. Did you? Probably. No. Uh, It's complicated to turn the page, really complicated. And you don't know how hard, most of the time you just do it because your body works. So your body knows how to turn the page. You learned when you were a little child to turn a page. It's you learned to do all the steps without even thinking. Probably 100 steps. Now, I started backwards because I should have said, "Do you know how hard it is for me to turn the page?" Then I say, "Do you know how hard it is for you to turn the page?" I just proved that you didn't. You don't know how hard it is for you to turn the page. Now, I'm going to say how much work it is for God for you to turn the page. How much work does God have to do? I don't have the answer, but I think we're both wrong. Way off. Way off. Because without God, nothing is impossible. With God, well, with God, nothing is possible. We can't turn the page without His hand on our hand. We can't turn the page without us holding it. But if we can't turn the page, and it doesn't just take our body to turn the page, it's our whole being. It's amazing. It's our whole body goes into works together just to turn that little page. And you didn't even know that, huh? And they say it takes so many muscles to smile or frown. Way off. Way off. What about the muscles in the back of your head? Or the muscle in your neck? Or the muscle in your hands? That help you to smile. You didn't know that, did you? Well, you know, I'm not saying all this to say you don't know how much harder it is for me to do that. Because sometimes I can't just do it. Sometimes I have to figure out how to get my hand up. How do I move my hand? Okay, which finger? I have to move my finger first. Which finger do I need to use? How do I move it? And it takes a lot of effort to figure out. Because right now it's taking effort trying to figure out how to get my elbow off the chair. How do I do that? Well, I might have to use five muscles or use one. Why? Because the muscle that is supposed to be being used isn't working. Same with pain. And people say, "Oh, you can handle this. Don't cry. Don't. You just gotta smile. Be happy. Make yourself be happy, and you will be happy." Okay, now I smile and make myself happy. Now I'm happy and depressed at the same time. Sometimes for me to pick my hand off to turn that page is this is how complicated it can be. It's like taking a piano up through a vent in the ceiling with a clothesline rope. Oh, do you know what a clothesline is? Look it up. The clothesline rope, a cotton clothesline rope. And the clothesline rope is in the trunk of the car 2 blocks away, and I have to do it without moving. And sometimes I do it. How? I have no clue. Probably because sometimes I pray and say, Lord, how do I get this piano? How do I get the clothesline rope? How is this supposed to work? And what direction do I put the piano to get it up through that vent? How is this supposed to work? We don't know. We don't. People are walking around in pain and severe pain, and you ask them, "How are you?" "Oh, I'm fine." Or they'll say, which is a lie, 'cause they're not. They're, oh, you wouldn't want to know if I wasn't okay, which is an insult. It's a pure insult to a Christian. We're supposed to laugh with those that laugh, rejoice with those that rejoice, or mourn with those that mourn. So to rejoice with those that rejoice and weep with those that weep. That's what it says, I think. Did I get that right? When and sometimes, so people are walking around and struggling. You don't know they're struggling. You don't know how hard it is just for them to put one step in front of the other. Why? Well, it could be emotional. Well, emotions, you gotta make yourself be happy. Wait a second. Emotional is just as important as any other part of being. Emotions, some people seem to think emotions aren't even real or have to do anything. You have to use emotions in order to function, in order to do anything. Back to the turning the page. It takes emotions to turn that page. We already discussed the spiritual. I don't even know what God does to help us turn that page. But I can tell you nothing is way off. Way off. I'm certain of it. So people walk around, they don't know. My dad has worked really hard in his life. They don't know that lifting 27 seven, Brussels sprouts to my mouth and chewing them and swallowing them, which is, by the way, is very abbreviated, which you can figure out from my example. There's more work than my dad has ever done in one day. Not now. Now I'm doing a lot better. So I'm in a lot of pain. But people, I've had women criticize me, women that have babies criticize me because I'm crying, or because I'm depressed, because I want to die, even because I want to kill myself. Excuse me? Who is your surrogate? That's what I want to say sometimes. Who is your surrogate? Because obviously you didn't birth those babies. Because otherwise you'd have, maybe, but that's not true. And sometimes we all have a hard time, even me, have a hard time understanding and accepting other people's pain because we don't see it. We hide it. Have a smile on our face, but don't realize we're in agony and it's taking everything we have to put one step in front of another. Why? Well, this could be a lot of reasons. Someone that's been through great, tremendous grief, that can be a problem. Someone that's physically disabled, someone who feels like their God's not there, they're struggling spiritually. Someone, I want to add this. I wasn't going to. It's going to be too long, but that's okay. When I worked in the schools, I worked with disabled children. I worked with these children. You go into a store and say, and the kids throwing things off the shelves. You say that kid needs. Go ahead, fill in the blank. Wait, you don't know that child. Is that child in pain? When's the last time they? Do you know what kids eat? Wait, go between Friday lunch and Monday breakfast and lunch without eating, without having proper nutrition? And they give them garbage at the school sometimes, and just little bit. They'll give them a Pop Tart and a couple slices of apple for breakfast, and they haven't eaten all weekend. In America, in your neighborhood, did someone or something just die? Okay, maybe it was their pet cricket. I don't know. Well, do they get enough sleep? Do they get enough hugs? Do they get enough attention? Are they going to daddy's house this weekend? Well, both houses are perfect. Their mom and dad and stepmom and stepdad love them to pieces without stress. Do they bounce between mommy and daddy, this and that, and other things? Is it a trigger? Maybe the part of the song triggered something was played when they were being abused one time, or when someone loved them. When I eat certain things with certain smells, I remember times in my life. Nothing probably happened, but I remember a time in my life when that happened. All here, all here. Remember, um, Paul Harvey when I have a peanut butter sandwich and have a certain smell. I don't remember the smells that it is. Can't describe it. And then I think about hair in my food, and I get choked because I guess one time there was a hair in my food when I was listening to Paul Harvey eating a peanut butter sandwich. Not every time, and that smell. Not every time it happens, but sometimes. But let's go on. Maybe they have a disability. Maybe they're maybe there something's going on inside that we don't see. But that's the same with anybody. You don't know how hard they're trying. You don't know how hard they're struggling. You don't know how hard whatever they're doing is for them. You go to someone parks in a disabled parking lot spot. You don't know why they might be. Oh, they might walk in just fine. But maybe those 253 steps to go get the milk in the back of the store, take it through the register and take it back to the car, are like 253 miles for you. You don't know. Nobody knows. We need to have compassion. We need to have empathy. We need to look into people's hearts and see why they're struggling and be able to help them. You don't know when I'm eating that it's like putting a washer and dryer in my truck when I take a bite of food. You don't know that. You don't know that sometimes I'm more pain than someone that's having a baby. You wonder why I scream? Probably because I'm in labor. Sometimes it stretched out over 3 days. It hurts. Sometimes you say, oh, well, people in Africa have nothing to eat. You're just gone 2 hours without food. Well, hunger sometimes is hunger. And you know what? That's very selfish. It's very selfish to say you can handle it because someone in Africa is worse off than you. You don't know how hard it is for that person. You don't know how hard it is on them or why it's hard on them. There have been times when I've had problems metabolically. There have been times when I had a lot of physical problems because I went too long without eating. Or maybe it was just an hour, supper, dinner was just an hour late, but it hurt me for 3 days afterwards. It had 30 days to recover from not eating, from dinner being an hour late. Right now, it's getting better, and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's happening right now. But my point is, we need to look on what people see. We need to be our eyes open to what people feel. Not make fun of people because that was a hard thing turning that page. And maybe we'd be willing to help people, lift our brand, or encourage them. And when someone says it's too hard, maybe it is too hard. What can you do? Yeah, you can pray for them. You can be there. Just be there. But be careful because sometimes if you're too close, sometimes I need someone to put their arms around me. But sometimes if you're sitting too close to me, that far away from my hand, it hurts. It's like you're stabbing me with a knife. Sometimes I might need you to sit 3 inches away from me instead. Or maybe I need to stretch, so I need to sit 2 feet away. But it helps for you to be there because of your support. Have you heard of, what is it called? I can't remember, but someone's struggling with something and they ask for your help and you can, emotional support? No. And then you come in and they maybe they're trying to open something and it opens. Or you put your hand right here and it opens. That's, that's real. That's real. It's not that you didn't do anything. You did a whole lot. You helped them open the lid. And sometimes they need that. Sometimes that's all it takes. I'm getting really deep now. That's all. Sometimes it's really all it takes. But it's not nice to say, oh, well, people, this person can handle it, or that person can handle it. Handle what? What do they have to go through to do what you're talking about? What do they have to go through to turn the page? Do they have to move their index finger a little bit different on the hand that's been cut off? How does that even work? It works, but I don't know how it works. I don't know how you do it. If there is anyone that ever listens to this video that has had their hand amputated, I want to tell you, I don't have a clue how you do it. How you turn how you move your index finger on your right hand when it's been amputated. And you think I'm kidding? No, I don't think I am. Sometimes that's literally. I have to get my body in the right position to pee. Sometimes my muscles and my bones just don't go right. They just don't sit right. And I'm blocked. It's like, now what do I do? I have to figure out how to get my body in the right position, or maybe it's not in the right position, or my muscles moved, or something, just so it can come out. I might be wanting to move my foot, and it's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do to move my foot 2 inches? I know some things. Sometimes if I stare across the room at something and aim towards that and kick it, it works because then I can move my foot 2 inches. Because and then I'm feeling better. Sometimes, and you might look at me, I have my eyes closed, and my drilling is like, what I'm doing is trying to figure out how to move my foot. What do I do first? What muscles do I move in my foot? Um, um, consciously move in my foot to get my foot to move the 2 inches. Or maybe I need to move the other foot 2 inches. Maybe that's not the foot I need. And so if you move the wrong foot, and I needed the right foot moved, and then you move the left foot, then what do I do? Then I have to start all over again trying to figure out how to move how to do what I want to do. And you don't know that. You don't know that I just had to go through a big process to do something simple. Oh, you probably did too. You might have, well, probably not every step, but it takes a lot more work than you think of because it just happens. You just don't like that. Right now, I'm fine doing that. But there have been times when it's like, you move that finger, okay, hand up. Yeah, no, not yet. No, with that finger. See all the steps that I'm going through just to move my hand in the circle, and then it's not doing it right because it's kind of tight. But my fingers had to move all along, just trying to get my hand to move. See how they're moving all over the place? And maybe that's a little exaggerated, but it's true. You do have to move. You have to move muscles all through your fingers just to move your hand in a circle. They're not still. They're not motionless. It's your muscles in your fingers that are moving your hand in a circle. And um oh, and so I just want people to remember that, with me or anybody else, you don't know what's on the inside. You don't know how hard it is for me. You don't know how hard it is for that person or why it's hard to do what they're doing. You don't know how hard, sometimes we make it harder on ourselves because we're not letting other people help us. We're not allowing God to help us. So it could be just so much easier if we just accepted help, if we accepted that we needed help, even emotional support, even there's someone there putting their hand here so you can move your hand, so you can open the jar. People want people to act independently, to do it themselves. Not practical. Not practical. What's practical is for us to be involved in each other's lives, for us to help each other, and for us to understand each other, and for us to support each other when we're sad, when we're depressed, when we're happy, when we're excited, when we're rejoicing because we did a little step. But most importantly, to accept God's help, to accept we need God to help us turn the page of that book. Because without God, nothing is possible. But with God, all things are possible. No, you can't turn the page without God's help. And you know what? It's probably easier to turn the page with someone sitting across the room reading their book and turning the pages of their book because we have that help, that support from the other person across the room. Sometimes we don't need a visit. I mean, it helps too. We need a lot of support, a lot of different ways. Sometimes we don't need a visit. We just need to be there. We just need to be near each other because we help each other. We serve each other. And we have the emotional support, the, the spiritual support from the other person because we all have a spirit. Thank you guys.